Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the Mafex DC Comics Steel. And this figure isn't necessarily new. It came out probably like 2 or 3 months ago or something like that, and when he first came out, I wanted to get this figure. I had it on pre-order, but unfortunately, I had to cancel it because at the time of his release, Mafex went absolutely crazy. They put out like 7 or 8 figures within the span of like 2 weeks, and it was just a little too much for me to handle, so I had to cut something. Unfortunately, I cut Steel. And I've got to say, right away, I regretted it because I started to see like in-hand pictures and some awesome photography, and right away I was like, damn it, that I shouldn't have cut that one. It looks incredible. But fast forward a few months, I had a couple of dollars and he was still available on Amazon, so I grabbed it. Thankfully, I was able to get my hands on this thing because it looks amazing, and now I'm all hyped up about it, so I want to do a review. So here we are, but let's go ahead and get right into it, starting off with the packaging. Through the window, you are able to see the figure itself along with the accessories. Up front, we get a look at the figure. Over here, it says Superman, Steel, Mafex, all that good stuff. On the side of the box, we get another shot of the figure. And then on the back, we get a look at the figure doing his thing in a couple of different poses, and then it shows the accessories that he comes with. On this side of the box, we get a really nice shot of John Henry. And yeah, man, he is looking awesome. Check that out. And I always love the Mafex packaging. It is small, it's collector friendly, so you are able to take the figure out and put it back in the box. And, you know, it's just not like humongous, you know, so you could keep the accessories in the box and store them that way. And yeah, I like how Mafex does their packaging. It's very clean and easy to handle. But enough about the box. Let's go ahead and get Steel out and take a look. Okay, so here we have Steel right out of the box. And man, I've got to say, right off the top, this guy definitely lives up to all that hype that I built around him inside my head. He's just as good as everybody says he is. This figure is absolutely fantastic. Mafex killed it, as they always do. And you know what? This guy kind of reminds me of Gambit in a way. Not like, you know, obviously there's no similarities in the design or anything like that. But, you know, when I finally got Gambit, I was like, yes, finally, you know, like a near perfect version of this character that I love so much. I was a huge fan of Gambit when I was a kid, and having that figure was just so satisfying. I'd imagine that if Steel is your guy, if he's that random character that you loved when you were little, when you get this figure, you're just going to be so like happy, so satisfied, because it's like a perfect version of this character. Look at this, man. Such a beautiful figure. Really well sculpted. I love like the metallic look that he has, and it kind of has a shine to it, but it's not like too much, you know. It isn't too like distracting or anything, you know. The amount of shine that he has on him is perfect. Look at that. I love the way the light bounces off. I love the way the cape looks, and I really like how they did this part, how it kind of like flares up like that. There's like these, like, I don't know what they are, like bendy wires on the inside there, some short bendy wires that kind of support this like this loop that we have here, you know? And that just looks so cool, so dynamic and dramatic, you know? It's so dope. And then obviously he does have a soft goods cape, and this is really well done. The material is nice. It has a really nice bendy wire in there that's pretty solid, and you could tell that it's going to be able to hold its shape and everything. So that is really cool. But yeah, man, such a dope figure. And right out of the box, everything felt really good. All the joints moved really well. The upper thighs were a little bit tight, so I did have to put a drop of oil in there. That seems to be the case on pretty much every single Mafex figure. Like, you take it out of the box, the legs move okay, but then after a few minutes, I don't know if it's because of like the temperature change or something in the atmosphere that, you know, makes the joint expand or something, but it gets tight. And then, you know, you have to put a little drop of oil in there. It's something I do frequently with Mafex figures. Not a huge deal, but I did have to do it on him. And then his shoulder did pop out on me a couple of times, but, you know, hasn't really been like an issue or anything. It just happened. But aside from those two things, like, everything else felt really, really good. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with the way this guy turned out. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at the sculpted detail on him, because as always, Mafex did a really great job with that stuff. Honestly, in my opinion, Steel is definitely one of the best looking Mafex figures. Like always, they did a great job with the sculpting and the details and all that, but the thing that I love about the way this figure looks is the way they handled the metallic shine. It looks so good. They absolutely killed it with that. I love the subtle blue that's in there. And yeah, man, it's just so nice. And I love the contrast of colors between the color on the cape and the colors on the figure. They come together in a really cool and unique way, and it makes it to where the figure just really stands out. It's very eye-catching, you know? It looks amazing alongside the rest of my DC figures, and it just pops, you know? It stands out. So it's really, really dope. I like the design of Steel, you know, it's a very cool and unique kind of look for a Superman type of character. There's not as many colors going on or anything like that. It's like, it's kind of simple, but they use like two extreme colors and bring them together in a really nice way. And Mafex did an incredible job of bringing it to life in plastic form. So yeah, I just love the way this thing looks. But checking out the details on the head here, look at that, man. They freaking killed it. I love how you could see the human aspects of the face in there, but then there's a little bit of like, you know, armored pieces with the rivets on the top of the head and then like lines to kind of make it look like a plate, you know. But yeah, look at the facial features. The cheekbones, the nose, the lips, all that looks really good. And then he does have those white eyes that kind of get lost a little bit in the head sculpt there because the silver is kind of a light color. But then once you see them, they look really dope. But yeah, look at that, man. Such a nice looking head sculpt. And the cape is really nice too. I feel like Mafex is getting better and better when it comes to capes. I like the way they did this thing here to kind of make it flare up like that. That looks really nice. And then, you know, on the back of the cape, we have the Superman logo. The material looks really good, and it does have a bendy wire on the sides and on the edge of the cape here at the bottom. So that is really nice. But yeah, man, it's a great looking cape, great looking head sculpt. And then moving on to the body, look at this. Look at that color, man. That's beautiful. That like blue in there. And you know, there's all kinds of different shades of silver and blue in here, but they all come together really nicely. But yeah, check out the S right here. We've got like those rivets or those studs, whatever you want to call them. And even just right there, there's like several shades of silver and blue that are different from the rest of the figure. Look at that, man. Such a great looking figure. The belt is kind of like a floating piece. It's connected in the back, so it's not like, you know, it's not like gonna move too much on you, but the front does move. So if you're like posing it around or taking pictures, you want to be mindful and make sure this is in the right position. He's got this thing on his forearm that looks cool. And I was really impressed with the way they handled this tube on the side of the leg because it doesn't hinder the articulation at all, and it looks really good. And check out the boots with more silvers and blue. Yeah, man, just such a beautiful figure. Like I said, it's got to be one of the best looking Mafex figures. And then for accessories, we get some pretty great stuff, including 5 different sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists. And then we have 3 different sets of open hands. 2 of them are kind of like relaxed, and the third set is kind of like wide open hands. And then we get a pair of gripping hands that could be used to hold on to the awesome hammer that he comes with. And he looks really dope holding on to this thing. There's not a whole lot to it, you know, it's a plain looking hammer, but it is well sculpted. It does come in 2 pieces, but the main thing about it is that he looks awesome holding it, so I like this a lot. And then he does come with 3 different heads. First off, we have the head that we've already looked at. This is just like a neutral, stoic facial expression, and then we get a face that is kind of mad. We have some teeth showing and stuff, and then the third head sculpt is him just straight up yelling, and this looks really, really dope. And then we do get some blast off effects. These plug into the bottom of his feet, and they do look really, really nice. I thought that he would have come with effects that you could plug into his arm blaster thing, but unfortunately, he does not. I thought maybe these can be used for both, but they can't. Alrighty, so now for some size comparisons. Here we have Steel alongside the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Superman and the Mafex Hush Superman. And these 2 figures are by far some of the best Superman figures ever made. I freaking love them. And I think that Steel looks really great next to them. I have Cyborg Superman, but I haven't opened it yet, so he's not going to be in this size comparison. But, you know, if you guys want me to review that guy, let me know in the comments. I know he came out like a year ago, but it's all good. It's a great looking figure. I just haven't been able to make the time to open it up. But now that I have Steel open, I'm like, damn, I got to get to Cyborg Superman. I know they're going to look great together. But yeah, I think this guy looks really nice next to these 2 Superman figures. And then here we have him alongside the Mafex Hush Batman and the Mezco 112 Collective John Stewart Green Lantern. And then next up, we have him alongside the McFarlane Toys Infected Superman. On the opposite side, we have the NECA DC vs. Dark Horse Superman. And damn, that thing is awesome, man. I forget how cool that figure is and how good the head sculpt is. And then here we have him alongside the Mattel DC UC Deathstroke. I just bought that guy on eBay, so I wanted to throw him in here. On the opposite side, we have the DC Icons Flash. And man, it would have been cool to see a DC Icon Steel. I think they would have did a great job with it. Here he is alongside the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Thor and the Mafex Iron Man. And I skipped out on the Mafex Thor figure. I don't know if I regret it quite yet. I know a lot of people don't like it all that much, but I think it does look cool. It's just undersized, and it's hard to justify when I have this 80th anniversary version because Legends did a good job on that one. But let me know in the comments, do you guys think that the Mafex Thor is worth picking up? And then next up, we have him alongside the G.I. Joe Classified Scrap Iron and the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Captain America with the custom head sculpt done by the one and only legendary Casting Cave. And then next up, we have him alongside the Mafex Cyclops. Once again, we have a custom head sculpt from Casting Cave, and that head sculpt really took this figure to another level. And you know, I've got to say, every time that I put a Casting Cave head sculpt in one of the reviews, like as a comparison or whatever, I always say, you know, I'll leave a link to his website in the description below, but I always forget, and I don't even know if people check the descriptions because no one's ever like corrected me or anything like that. So anyways, if I forget to leave the link to his website in the pinned comment or in the description, please yell at me in the comments, call me an asshole or an idiot or something like that so I could get the link into the comments because you guys got to check him out. He definitely makes figures so much better. On the opposite side, we have the Mafex Gambit, one of the best Mafex figures. I think that Steel is going to be right up there with him. And then finally, most importantly, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And when it comes to articulation, as always, Mafex did a really great job with it. He has all the points of articulation that you'd want for a character like Steel, and probably more to be honest with you. You could definitely get him into a lot of great poses, and he's a whole bunch of fun to play with, which is obviously priority number one for me. But yeah, man, there's a lot of good stuff going on here, but let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. So he does have movement at the upper neck and at the lower neck, so using both of those, we could get him to tilt his head to the side a really nice amount. And then obviously he could look side to side. There's a lot of nice movement in there. And probably most importantly, you could get him to look up to about right there, which is nice for flight poses. Boom, look at that. And then he could look down to about right there, but his chin does collide with his chest plate here, so that's about as far as it'll go. But yeah, that's not bad. Nice movement at the head here and the neck. And then for the torso, he does have a diaphragm cut, which, you know, moves to the side a really nice amount. You can twist on that diaphragm cut, crunches forward, but he also has a ball joint at the waist, and the most effective way to use the whole torso is to use both of these joints at the same time, and when you do that, you get some really great movement. Look at that, that's crazy. When does Steel ever need to crouch forward that much? And then he goes back a pretty good amount, so that's nice. You can also swivel at that waist if you need to. And he could bend side to side. I love that right there. Boom. That always makes for some dynamic possibilities. Yeah, look at that, man. This is one of those figures, just like whatever you do, he's just going to look dope. But yeah, really good stuff here at the torso. And then for the arms, he does have like that butterfly type of joint that Mafex always uses. And he does have these shoulder pads. The shoulder pads are on a hinge. They kind of just get out of the way. So that's nice. You could bring his arm, damn, you could bring his arms up a crazy amount. Considering that he has shoulder pads. Yeah, look at that. They just kind of get right out of the way. And they're attached to the actual ball joint, or like the inner part of the ball joint on the shoulder. So yeah, they just kind of move along with it. But look at that. That's pretty good. And then the butterfly joints can get in front of him a pretty good amount, but you know, he does have this chest plate, so it kind of gets in the way, but yeah, you could get it in front a pretty, look at that, boom, for some punching poses. That'll work for sure. But you may have to adjust it because the shoulder pad keeps wanting to pop up. Look at that, boom, that's awesome. And then they do go back a pretty good amount depending on how you position it. So that's pretty good. Yeah, I always love the way that Mafex does the shoulders and the torso joints. And then obviously because his shoulder's on a ball joint, let's try to get the cape out of the way. You can move his arms all the way around. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows. Boom. There we go. We have a ball joint at the wrist that hinges, and you could rotate it, and you could also rotate on the hand itself. And then for the legs, it's always difficult to show articulation on a on a character with a cape. It keeps getting in the way. Anyways, with the legs, he does have drop down hips, which are nice. His legs can go forward to right there, which, you know, it's not a whole lot, but it's decent. And if you crunch them forward, it kind of gives the appearance that it's going forward a little bit more. And then he does have upper thigh swivel. Kick his leg out to the side. Boom. So that's nice. It's about as far as it could go. I was really impressed with all of the leg articulation because he does have this like tube thing going down the side, and it doesn't hinder the articulation at all. Even at the knee here, check this out. It bends with no issue, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if that's like a stretchy kind of material or what, but yeah, it doesn't bother the articulation at all, and it doesn't look like it's gonna, you know, snap or anything. So look at that, boom. Double jointed knee. No lower leg swivel, but he does have swivel at the foot. And man, considering how well this is all covered up, these ankle joints are pretty nice. I mean, they don't move a crazy amount, but they're like completely covered. You can't even see the joint in there. Well, there it is, if you move the foot to the side enough. But yeah, that looks really good, and it functions really well. And then he does have toe hinge. So yeah, man, like I said, he's got some really great articulation. He's a whole lot of fun to play with. Everything feels good when you're moving it around, and he just looks awesome no matter what you're doing with them. It's one of those types of figures, but yeah, I'm very happy with the articulation on him, and I'm definitely having a whole bunch of fun playing around with it. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, like I said at the beginning, this figure is absolutely amazing. I love everything about it. There's no like glaring flaws. I can't really think of anything that stands out as like a negative. Can't think of anything that I would have wanted to be different. Everything about it is really well done. In my opinion, it's got to be like the perfect steel figure. Keep in mind, I'm not like a steel expert. I don't know too much about the character. It's not like a character that I was, you know, all into when I was younger or anything like that. Obviously, I'm familiar with him and stuff, but, you know, I'm not like a super fan. I'm really curious to know what hardcore fans of Superman or Steel think of this figure. Like, when I see this, I go, damn, that's like a perfect version of Steel. Everything about it is well done. It's really well sculpted. The color is perfect. I love that little hint of blue that's in there. It's very subtle, but you can still see it without it like overpowering the entire like metallic look of it. I like the shine that it has. I think that looks great. The cape is really well done. I love the color contrast between the bright red of the cape and the metallic color of the armor. Like I said, he's really well sculpted, a whole lot of detail. The face looks good. All the armor pieces look nice. The articulation is amazing, a whole lot of fun to play with, and he does come with some really great accessories. So in my opinion, it's like the perfect Steel figure. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments, especially if you're a hardcore fan of Steel. I want to know how happy you are with this guy or what you think could have been different. But yeah, man, Mafex are definitely the best company out there doing DC figures, like by far. They kill it almost every single time. The only Mafex DC figure that I bought that I wasn't into was the Hush figure. But aside from that, every single DC figure that they've done has been incredible, and you know, they're the ones really keeping DC alive in the 6-inch world, you know? Like, there's been some pretty good lines from Mattel and DC Icons and all these different things, but none of them really stick around. Mafex, you know, they've been doing it for a while now at this point, and it does take them a long time to get figures out. But when they do come out, they always deliver, you know? They're always well done. They're always just amazing, you know? They're almost like, okay, we don't need another version ever again because Mafex gave us pretty much the perfect version. Hopefully they continue to do that. I would love to see them do more DC figures and more obscure characters, you know? There's so many cool DC figures I'd like to see from them. I'm not going to list off a wish list or anything. But yeah, man, I really hope they continue to do DC stuff. I hope they they get a little bit more obscure with it, and I hope that they continue to deliver at this level because they're killing it, man. And in my opinion, this steel is definitely one of the best Mafex figures that they've done so far, and I'm so happy I pulled the trigger on it. It would have sucked if I missed out on it because this guy's awesome. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.